So in this video I am going to be showing you the process of sanding using a rotary tool. Obviously I'm using a voiceover. This video I am wearing a mask. You should always wear a mask sanding as well as pouring. Tiny particles getting into your lungs isn't going to be good for you. So I start off by just taking off the larger chunks of resin with a small pair of scissors. I'd say now scissors are perfect for this, especially the curved ones. They can be useful to get into the more trickier places. Just repeat that process for everything. If there's any extra resin that I need to cut off, then I just get rid of it with the scissors. You can see on this K butterfly keyring, I have really made a mess of this one. There are massive chunks that need to come off, so this is a very good example. And can I just say, it's okay to make a mess. It is okay. I go right up to the rim of the mould. Some people say don't go up to the rim of the mould, but I literally cannot stand it when the resin dips down. It's near enough impossible to get the backs completely smooth when that's the case. So I would suggest you fill it all the way up to the top. So cutting the excess resin off first does help save the sanding, polishing, grinding tips. Here you can see I use a Dremel. I love it. I would not be without it. I've put the exact model that I use on my Amazon recommendation list. I managed to find a really good seller on eBay who sells all the tips, and they're such good quality. I would not go with anyone else. I've bought so many of these tips off of Amazon thinking, oh, they're cheaper. Honestly, don't bother. I'm going to include the link to the eBay shop that I purchased from. Personal recommendation. They are absolutely amazing. Very good quality. As I showed in the beginning, cutting off the large excess pieces of resin does save the polishing tips, the sanding tips, the grinding tips, whatever you want to call them. I mean, the less you use them, the longer they're going to last. As you can see, I do not touch the back or any surfaces that I don't need to sand. So just touching and scraping on the edges just to get rid of the sharpness. If you fill the moulds right up to the top, you'll find that this is really easy to do. Whereas, as I was saying about the dipping in the middle, it's so hard to get a flat back, and you end up having to sand the back, and it's honestly a waste of time. I use the very pointed edge for the very sharp corners, and I save the point for all of the intricate pieces because these can break really easily, so you need to be really careful. I use the larger part of the point, so the widest part of the point, for the straight edges, and I use the very tip of the point for only the areas in which I need to use the point. I think you more or less get the idea. I'm going to speed up the rest of the video because I can imagine that it'll probably get a bit boring. So here you go. My hands don't work this fast, but Whoa, 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 there it goes. It's actually quite funny. I did not know that this was on there. I'm just going to do a replay of that moment. And that is an example of what happens to the tip if you overuse it. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. You can still use the thicker part, which, as you can see, I'm still continuing to use it. But obviously the point is for the really hard to get to places. Only use it when you need it. As I've already mentioned before, I am going to put the eBay shop link in the description. I couldn't recommend their tips enough. They're amazing. Please don't bother going with Amazon because they are harder. You don't get the same result. These are a lot softer and of course are in turn softer on the resin and leave a better finish. I'll leave all of my recommendations in the video description so you can look at them at your leisure. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you do have any questions, please drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to cover it. Thank you for watching and listening. Remember, if you want to be the first to find out about any new content, please subscribe. Thanks everyone.